All right, welcome to lesson 1.5, using a problem-solving plan. All right, in this section we're going to talk about how to use a problem-solving plan to solve word problems. So first we need to know what our problem-solving plan is. The first step is to read and understand. So you need to read the problem carefully, identify what you know and what you need to find out. Pretty self-explanatory. I find that in word problems, if you need to underline or circle important information to make it stand out, that is also very helpful. All right, in step 2, we want to make a plan, just decide on an approach to solving the problem. So for example, in this case, in the example I'm going to show you, we are going to um, write an equation, and that's usually what you're going to end up doing this year in algebra. All right, step 3, solve the problem. Pretty simple. Carry out your plan, solve the equation, and if the first one doesn't work out and it doesn't make sense, then try again, okay? Try to switch up your approach. All right, and then the last step 4, is to look back. Please, please, please make sure that your answer makes sense with the question that's being asked. Okay, that's one of the most common mistakes that I see when people are doing word problems, is that they don't take the time to decide whether or not their answer actually makes sense for the problem that's being asked. Okay, so we're gonna go through this problem-solving plan and with one example, and then I have a list of formulas that I'm gonna need you guys to write down after we go through this problem. All right, so the word problem's kind of long, so let's just go through it. It says you run in a city. Short blocks are north-south and are 0.1 or 1/10 of a mile long. Long blocks are east-west, and they are 0.15 miles long, or 1/1500 miles long. You will run 2 long blocks east. Okay, so I'm gonna create 2 lines. I'm gonna go 2 long blocks east. Okay, a number of short blocks south. I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna say some unknown number. I'm gonna go X. Oops. Probably would help if you could actually see what color it is. X. Okay. And then we're going to run 2 blocks west. Okay, so I'm gonna go back 1, 2, and then back to my start. So again, some unknown number of blocks back to my start. Okay, you want to run 2 miles at a rate of 7 miles per hour. How many short blocks must you run? Okay, so I just did a short little picture to start off with. Now I'm going to figure out what is important in this question. So I think it's important to know that these short blocks are 0.1 miles long. The long blocks are 0.5 or 0.15 miles long. It's probably good to know that I'm running 2 blocks east and 2 long blocks west, and that I want to run a total of 2 miles. I also want to make sure that I look at how many short blocks I need to run. That's what I'm trying to solve. All right, so I am going to use this information, and I'm going to actually write out an equation, okay? So I know that I am going 0.1 are my short blocks. I don't know how many short blocks I'm going, so I'm going to make that x. And I'm doing 0.1 times x because the length of the short blocks is going to be multiplied by 0.1. Okay, I'm going to add this information to how many long blocks I'm going. Long blocks are 0.15, and I am actually multiplying them by how many long blocks I am running. In this case, I'm running 2 plus 2, so 4. And then in total, I am running 2 miles. All right. Now, using this equation, I could solve for x, and I will easily be able to solve for how many short blocks I'm going. So let's do that now. So my first step is going to be 0.15 times 4. And 0.15 times 4 is 0.6. This is still equal to 2. And I'm still adding this to 0.1x. All right, so now I'm going to solve my equation like I normally would. So I'm going to subtract 0.6 to both sides of my equal sign. So this goes away. I'm left with 0.1x equals 2 minus 0.6 is 1.4. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.1 because my relationship between 0.1 and x right now is multiplying, so I'm going to do the inverse. So that would be divide. Now cross this information out, and x is going to equal 1.4 divided by 0.1 is 14. So in this case, my answer would be 14. We solved for short blocks. That means that we are running 14 short blocks. All right, so that would be my answer. All right, so just make sure you're being aware of how you're solving the problem. In this case, there was some information we didn't need to know. We did not need to know what the rate was. Okay? Didn't matter. All right, so the last piece of information that I'm going to give you is a list of formulas that you are actually going to need for your work tomorrow. So let me just get this in here. Okay, so please make sure you write these formulas down in your notes so you can look back on them. Tomorrow you can look back on them for your daily quiz tomorrow as well and while you're working. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you take your notes. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.